Right, question number 4. You have been asked to factorize. Here there is a minus sign at the front, so let's put that minus. 6, 12, and 15. All three of those appear in the 3 times table. So minus 3 is the common factor. That's 2y. 3 times 2 is 6. Then minus into what gives us a plus? Minus into minus. So 3 times what gives us 12? That's 4. So 4t, and minus into what would give us a minus? That's minus into plus. So the next term, the next sign has to be plus. And 3 times 5 is 15. 5a. We need 15a. Then comes question B. Ay plus by minus 6a minus 6b. Do we see a factor which is common to all 4 terms? No, right? There is no factor which is common to all 4 terms. So when that's the case, we use a special technique. What's that technique is called as? That's factorizing by grouping. So let's group it. First group, the first 2 terms. What's the common factor? Y is common. A plus B. Then comes the next 2 terms. Next 2 terms starts with a minus, so let me put that minus. 6a and 6b, what's common? 6 is common. A. In order to get minus 6b, minus into what gives you minus 6b? That is minus into plus b. Now when you compare the red term with the blue one, you see that a plus b is a common factor. It appears in both. So a plus b is common, so you put that out. Then what has to be written in? What goes in? Y minus 6. Question C. Question C is the trinomial quadratic expression. There is no factor which is common to 3y squared, 11y, and 6. There is no factor which is common to all 3 of these terms. Then we employ a special technique. What is it? We got to do grouping. But in order to do grouping, we need at least 4 terms. So let's convert this expression to an expression with 4 terms. So 3y squared plus 6. All right, we are going to split plus 11. We're going to write something equivalent to it. But you can't just write any 2 random numbers. You can't. Now, though 11 is, though 5 plus 6 makes 11, 5 plus 6 is 11, right? But if you write 5 plus 6 in the place of 11, though the statement is correct, though you're not doing any amendments to the statement, the original statement, you will not succeed in factorizing. Why? There are 2 factors you got to think of. When you add, you should get plus 11. And what's the other factor? That is, when you multiply the 2 numbers you are writing in the middle, that should give you 18y squared. From where did this 18 come? That is 3 times 6. Right. So let's think of a combination that would give us an addition of plus 11 and a multiplication, a product of plus 18. What would be that combination? All right, that's 2y plus 9y. When you add 2 plus 9, you get 18, or rather 11. And when you multiply 2 by 9, you end up getting 18. So the correct combination right in the middle here is 2 plus 9, or 2y plus 9y. So now let's factorize. 3y squared and 2y, what's the common factor? Y is common. So 3, to get y squared, what should we write in a y? y times 3y would give you 3y squared plus y times what would give you 2y, that's 2. Right, we're done with the first two terms. Now comes the next two terms. That is plus 9y plus 6. Both 9 and 6 appear in the 3 times table. So 3 is the common factor. 3 times what makes 9y? That's 3y. And 3 times what makes 6? That's plus 2. Now when you compare the two terms, the red one and the pink one, you see that 3y plus 2 is the common factor. It appears in both. You take that out. So 3y plus 2 should be written out. And what would you write in what's remaining? That is y plus 3. So the answer is 3y plus 2 times y plus 3. All right, let's look at the next one. We have got, once again, a trinomial quadratic. So when you get a trinomial quadratic, what you got to do is you're going to multiply the first term by the last term first. So that's 2y squared times plus 12. Now what would that give you? That gives you 24y squared plus 24y squared. Now remember, when you multiply, you should get 24, and meantime, when you add, you should get minus 25. So then what should be the factors you're writing? When you're writing the multiplication bonds, what if you write two pluses, like plus 2y times plus 12y? Now when you write in this way, one would be not happy with the things what you have written. 24 would be happy. Why? Because plus 2 times plus 12 is plus 24. But who is not happy? This negative 25 is not happy, because he knows that when you add two positive numbers, you will never end up with a negative value. So negative 25 is in need of an addition that would give a negative answer. So when you write two positives, you will never end up with a negative answer, which means the multiplication bonds what you're writing here cannot be two pluses. Then if it's not two pluses, what can we do then? What's the other option we got? What about writing two minus values? Let's see whether that works. What if we write something like negative 2y times negative 12y? Writing two minuses. Let's see what happens. What is minus into minus? What is minus into minus is a plus. So this 24 has no issues with it, because this 24 is a plus value. Then we got to ask whether this minus 25 is happy with we writing two negative values. Would he be happy? Yes, he would, because he knows when we add two negative values, we definitely end up with a negative value. So with this way of writing, we make both of these happy. We are making 24 happy, and we are also making negative 25 happy. Right. So now we figured out the two values what we are writing should be negatives. So let's write the combinations. Minus 1y times minus 24, that give us 24y squared, or as minus 2y times minus 12y, or as minus 3y times minus 8y, or as minus 4y times minus 6y. All right, out of these Four combinations, which one should we export to the middle? How do we figure out which combination should go to the middle? We got to add. Let's do the addition. What is minus 1y minus 24y? When you add, they are friends. So when you add one negative with 24 negatives, what would you end up with? You will end up with 25 what? Negatives. All right. We got the answer in the first step, in just in the first line, because what we were searching for is a combination that would give us minus 25 when added, and we got it. So which means we can export this combination to the middle. So that is 2y squared, and we are going to replace minus 25y with something equivalent to it. What is it equivalent to? Minus 1y minus 24y plus 12. All right now, so now we can factorize by grouping 2y squared and 1y minus 1y, y is common, what goes in? 2y minus 1 and minus 24 and plus 12 minus 12 is common. Both 24 and 12 appear in the 12 times table. So that's 2y minus 1. Why minus 1? Because minus into minus is what gives us plus. So now when you compare the two terms, you see that 2y minus 1 is common. So you ask him to get out, it goes out. And what comes in? The rest of the items, that is y minus 12. So the final answer is 2y minus 1 times y minus 12. All right, question F is quite easy. What you see is a difference of two squares. So whenever you get to factorize difference of two squares, you're going to put two brackets, and one you write with a plus, that's y plus a, and in the other you write with a subtraction, y minus a.